Hi, my name is Mrs. Joan Ghostbuster. I want to share a story of a personal journey. It's titled, The Day I Took Back My Story. If you had met me in 2015, you wouldn't recognize me today. I was 37 years old, stuck in a job I hated, drowning in debt, and living in a tiny apartment in Chicago. My husband, Mark, had just lost his job, and we had 2 kids, Emily, 10, and Jake, 7, who depended on us. Every morning, I'd wake up exhausted, feeling like my story had already been written. Then, one night in December, everything changed. It was 11:30 p.m. The kids were asleep, and I sat alone at the kitchen table, staring at a stack of overdue bills. Mark had gone to bed early. He was stressed, and we had barely spoken that evening. My job as an insurance claims officer paid the bills, but it left me empty. I reached for an old box in the closet, the one filled with journals from my 20s. I saw my younger self, full of hope and ambition, writing about stories I wanted to publish. And then, I saw something I wrote at 22, no matter where life takes me, I will never stop writing. Tears welled up in my eyes. Because that's exactly what I had done. I had stopped. Not just writing, but dreaming. That night, I made a decision. I was going to rewrite my story. I knew I couldn't quit my job overnight. We needed money. But I also knew I had to start somewhere. So, I made a deal with myself. I would wake up 1 hour earlier every day. 5 a.m. instead of 6 a.m. And I would write. The first morning was tough. I made coffee, sat at my desk, and stared at a blank page. But I wrote. Just 200 words. The next day, 300. Within 2 months, I had finished my first short story in years. I told my best friend, Lisa, about my plan. She was my biggest cheerleader and reminded me, Joan, you don't need to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. In March 2016, I submitted my first article to a small online magazine. It got rejected. So did the next one. But on May 12th, by 2017, I had built a portfolio of published articles. But I was still in that same draining job. One evening, Mark and I sat down at the kitchen table. This time, not with bills, but with a plan. What if I quit my job and we downsize for a year while I try freelancing full-time? I asked. It was a terrifying thought, but Mark believed in me. If we don't try now, when will we? He said. So in September 2017, I handed in my resignation. We moved into a smaller apartment, cut down expenses, and I launched my freelance writing career. The first 6 months were brutal. I sent out 50 pitches a week and got mostly silence in return. But I kept going. And then, in March 2018, I landed my first big client, a national health and wellness magazine that paid me $2,000 for a feature article. That was more than I made in a month at my old job. By the end of 2018, I was making more from writing than I ever did at my insurance job. By 2019, we moved into a house that we loved, and for the first time in years, I felt free. Looking back, I realized the hardest part wasn't changing my career. It was changing my mindset. The moment I stopped believing I was stuck and took that first step, my whole story shifted. So, if you're sitting there feeling like life has already written your story, I want you to remember this. You can turn the page. You can pick up the pen. And you can rewrite your story. One small step at a time, the next chapter of your life, it's waiting for you to write it. If this story inspired you, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Echoes of Hope for more powerful life-changing stories. Share this video with someone who needs a reminder that their story isn't over. And remember, your next chapter starts with one step. See you in the next video.